What's up, everybody? Are you excited? Golf is back. Live golf on our TV screens, national television, top of the hour. The TaylorMade driving relief skins match. Rory McIlroy and Dustin Johnson taking on Rickie Fowler and Matthew Wolff. We will break it all down for the next 45 minutes. I'm Jason Sobel from the Action Network. Joining me right now, reigning AT&T Pebble Beach Pro-Am champion Nick Taylor, Stephen Hennessy, who covers the PGA Tour for Golf Digest. And joining us in just a little bit, Colin Morikawa. You want to stay tuned. Don't want to miss that. But first, let's get right to it. Nick, how excited are you to finally at least watch some golf? I know you're not playing in the event yet. PGA Tour starting in a few weeks from now, but sort of a soft open today, and we get to see some golf on TV. How excited are you to see some golf?
Yeah, I'm very excited. It's been quite some time since the Players, so I'm itching to play some golf, let alone watch some golf. So I'm excited for it. I think the skins format will be really exciting to see some aggressive golf. So I'm looking forward to watch these four guys play.
I know you've been home in Canada. The weather's been pretty good. You said the last week and a half or so you've been practicing a little bit. Do you think watching this match will maybe motivate you a little bit to say, okay, I'm starting to get going a little bit? Even Rory said this week he's really going to kick it into gear for getting into tournament shape after he plays in this today. I think this will motivate you to kind of say, okay, I go from practicing to like really practicing and getting ready for this thing.
Yeah, for sure. I think I'm hoping to see a bit of rest from these guys because that's what my form is currently. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. I think this will kickstart a lot of people to finally watch some golf and really get into the competitive form. I'm sure once everyone gets inside the ropes, there's going to be some rust there after, over 2 months of a break. But yeah, I'm really excited just to watch some golf, and that's going to motivate me for sure.
Stephen Hennessy, we've got golf today, but just as importantly, we've got action today. We've got something we can wager on. We've got some betting opportunities out there. We'll get into all that later in the show. We've got winning bets outright. We've got prop bets. We've got all sorts of stuff going on. We're going to get into all those. But Steve, right off the top, how excited are you for golf? How excited are you to bet on golf again?
Yeah, it's a great opportunity for golf in general, to be the first professional American sport back, to have it on NBC at 2:00, and then to be able to bet on it. It's a huge opportunity for golf. And I think the casual sports fan, who wouldn't necessarily maybe be as likely to tune in to a non-major, we have live golf and something to bet on too. So, the bettor who isn't necessarily a huge golf person, you could get some action on it. And I think they're going to see that golf is kind of ideally suited to betting and live betting too, which is a huge opportunity for the sport.
I can't agree more. The live betting opportunities are going to be plentiful today, and I think there's going to be a good chance to get an edge on that. We're going to get into all that, the betting opportunities. We're going to break down these teams, break down the players, break down the course. Can't wait to see Seminole Golf Club in action on TV for the first time ever. But first, let's get to the format, and I want to start out applauding. I mean, this is not money that's going in the pockets of these four players. This is money from TaylorMade, from the sponsors, that is going towards COVID-19 charitable relief efforts, which is such a great idea. And I think we can all back that cause and support them, even if you're sort of just lukewarm interested in this match. I think you get a little more interested knowing that, hey, it's all going towards the charitable relief efforts, which are so important right now. As for the format of this match, this is not match play. This is not like what we see in the Ryder and President's Cup every year, where you can get up early, get some momentum. This is skins carry over. Plus, it's increasing monetary value for these skins as the match continues. Holes 1 through 6 will be worth $50,000 each. Holes 7 through 16 will be $100,000 each. Hole 17, $200,000. And oh boy, because it's going to get fun at the end, $500,000 on the line for the pretty tough 18th hole at Seminole. If they tie that hole, if they're tied at the end, they will go to an extra hole from there, maybe a closest to the pin contest, whatever can get them off the air on NBC in time. But the format definitely speaks to there's going to be some variance in this thing. Nick, I know you haven't played necessarily a skins match on TV like this one, but I'm sure you've played skins matches in the past. How does your mindset differ from a stroke play event to a skins event?
It changes a lot. Like skins game, you're not looking for a consistent 18 holes of, the 15 pars, 3 birdies. You want to have a flash on one of the holes and grab the skins. Hopefully it's a carryover hole. So I think you're going to see a lot of aggressive golf today. I think as a team, if one person's out of play, you might play slightly more conservative to not give away the hole, but I think you're going to see a lot of aggressive shots. So hopefully that equates to a lot of birdies and hopefully some eagles there. But I personally haven't played Seminole, but I've gone through the course and looked at it and read some stuff that I think there's going to be some opportunities if it presents itself.
Now, you've had some success in team golf. I mentioned off the top that, of course, you won at Pebble Beach just a few months ago. I think it was a few months ago. It feels like a few years ago. And I know you think so as well. But you won alongside Steve's boss, Jerry Tardy from Golf Digest. He was your partner. Does it help you? I mean, even though, yes, okay, you're playing your own ball at Pebble Beach and yeah, there's a team aspect to it, but you're trying to win that golf tournament. Did it help you during those rounds to have somebody next to you, at least someone you can kind of, hey, I'll help you read a putt. You kind of hit one on my line and I get to see something. Does that help you?
Certainly. I think, it's such an individual sport. So having a team aspect every once in a while, I think is a lot of fun. You can even go to the Zurich Classic in New Orleans. I've played that a couple times. It's a really, really fun event. And being the best ball format that it is today, I think you can definitely lean on your partner if you need to. But again, I think it brings up more aggressive golf, which is, I think, what everybody wants to watch.
Steve, you mentioned some live betting opportunities. I think you're right on the money there, literally, because what we're going to see is one of these teams might get off to an early start and they get up and all of a sudden the odds are going to change a little bit. The first 6 holes are literally only 15% of the skins and money that will go towards the winning total. So I think there's, like you said, a lot of opportunity just based on the format. I think the first thing, if you're betting on this today, you have to understand the format of what's involved, don't you?
Yeah, absolutely. The 17th hole, the 18th hole are going to be so crucial. So I think looking at the current odds, you have DJ and Rory about minus 190 or so. So that's a pretty steep price to lay. So I think the move is, if you like them, maybe wait a little bit, see if Rickie and Wolff get out to an early lead, and then you'll get a little more value, if they're down a little bit. That really doesn't matter if they're down a couple skins at the start, based on those skins being only $50,000, that's easy to make up down the stretch. So, I'm not sure odds makers will necessarily, adjust to that also. So, you really might have some value on DJ and Rory if you wait a little bit. So, they're obviously the heavy favorite, minus 190. You got the current world number one and also a former world number one, bunch of majors between them. So, yeah, the format, certainly. That 17th hole is a par 3. We'll talk about the course a little bit more, but the par 4 finishing hole, the 18th, up to this elevated green. Interesting to see how they play those 2 holes. And, those are going to be key, to finishing up the skins here.
Yeah, we're absolutely going to get through the course. And, of course, Rory and DJ, the favorites in this match, although the steam's been moving towards the underdogs a little. I think people are getting a little sharp and understanding exactly what it means in this format to be an underdog, which, quite frankly, is a little bit of a toss-up. But I want to get to these players. We know them all. We've watched them all. They're all PGA Tour champions. Nick, I was doing a piece for the Action Network the other day where I was listing pros and cons for each player. I thought, oh, it's a good way of kind of previewing the event, right? You list the good things, the bad things. I got about 1/4 of the way through it, and I listed pros for Rory McIlroy. Well, he's Rory McIlroy, and he's really good at golf. He hits it a long way, hits lots of greens, makes lots of putts. I don't know. Those seem pretty good. Then I got to cons, and I sat there with a blank cursor in front of me for a while going, what am I supposed to do now? Give me some cons about Rory McIlroy, Nick. What do you got?
You put me on the spot.
Yeah, I did.
Like you said, it's probably 100-to-1 ratio of pros to cons for Rory, for all these guys, really. I would say anything that comes to mind might be Rory. If he has a cold putter, could have some putts to potentially win skins or tie skins. And, if that happens, with some rust and some layoff, I'm assuming usually the short game is a little behind of where you want it to be. So If there's one thing that I would ever pick apart of Rory McIlroy, it would be occasionally his putter can go cold, but that's a very short list that I'm gonna go on.
You're right. That wasn't fair. I did put you on the spot there, asking for cons in Rory McIlroy's game. So I'm going to give you the easier layup right now. Dustin Johnson, his teammate, you played with him at the Canadian Open 2 years ago in 2018. Obviously, You've seen Dustin's game up close. The pros of Dustin Johnson's game.
Length is obviously a huge thing. He's one of the best drivers of golf ball probably in history, let alone on the tour right now with Rory McIlroy. So that 1-2 punch is going to be very tough to beat. He hits a very straight and long. I think his aggression definitely helps with that. And, you know, his wedge game has improved so much for someone of his length. So tee to green, it's just a phenomenal team. I think, again, if you were going to do a con, if you're putting him on the spot for both of them, it would be potentially a cold putter for both of them. So, and that's where I would see Rickie Fowler having that advantage, is being such a great putter. So it'll be very interesting to watch. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, it's a great point on Rickie, Nick. And the fact that on courses we haven't seen hold PGA Tour events, usually there's really no course advantage, but there is some experience here. Rory McIlroy's dad, Jerry, plays there just about every day. Jerry loves this place, and they love Jerry there. But, Steve, Rickie Fowler is a 3-time champion of the pro member at Seminole. And for those who don't know, the pro member at Seminole looks like a PGA Tour event. In fact, if you were to give out world ranking points, there might be more available at Seminole than at some PGA Tour events. And that is very literal right there. So Rickie has won it 3 times. Granted, he's been playing with Buddy Marucci. It's not a bad partner to have, but Rickie's got some experience and he's had some success on this golf course, Steve.
Yeah, there's certainly course experience on the side of Rickie, DJ, and Rory. Obviously, Rory's dad, you know, is a member. Rory's played it a couple times in the last few weeks. DJ's played it quite a bit. And Rickie, you know, he knows these greens. And like Nick said, his putter, you know, it could get really hot. So in a skins format, that's potentially dangerous. I think that's, you know, maybe an advantage for he and Wolff, and maybe the only one, because DJ's and Rory's length, you know, they could be 30 yards ahead of Rickie and Wolff on a lot of holes. And, you know, the difference between an 8-iron and a 6-iron into these Seminole greens, huge deal. But yeah, you know, Rickie's course experience certainly going to help, because you have to know where to miss it at Seminole also. And, you know, obviously he's figured that out. His short game also very stout. You know, you're not going to hit all these greens. So, you know, his chipping and putting are definitely going to be crucial, I think, to keeping them in this.
It's an excellent point about knowing where to miss on Seminole, which is a Donald Ross course. We'll get to more on the golf course itself in just a second, but let's get to the other guy, sort of the fourth Beatle here. And I hate saying that about Matthew Wolff. He's one of the brightest young talents in the game. But Steve, tell us a little bit about Matthew Wolff and what people can expect if they don't know his game necessarily as well as the other 3 players.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, Matt Wolff is a rising star, and you know, his swing, people are going to see it on TV for the first time and say, well, what is this guy doing? He's got this little twitchy start to his swing where he moves his, you know, front knee back, and the way he kind of routes the club in is so unique. He works with this leading teacher, George Genghis, and, you know, he's had quite the amateur career at Oklahoma State, just like Rickie. So you got 2 OK State guys on the same team. But, you know, Matt Wolff, he won in his 3rd tour start of his rookie season. So, you know, he's proved that, you know, this stage isn't too big for him. And obviously, you know, this is just a skins game and for charity. So it's, you know, not quite a major championship, not quite a tour event, but, you know, he's proven to have that clutch gene. He chipped in on the 72nd hole when he won at the 3M Open. So, you know, he's got that ability to light it up and go low, which he did that day. I think he shot a 63 in the final round. I had some money on him in the final round. He was like 8 or 9-1 that last day. So that was pretty nice. But I think people are going to be excited to kind of get to know him. And I think it's a huge opportunity for him as well. You know, everyone knows the other 3 guys, even the casual sports fan, but not the casual sports fan who probably doesn't know Matthew Wolff. They're going to after today. So it's a huge opportunity for him. And I think he knows that.
If there's one guy with something to prove today, it's Matthew Wolff, who wants to show that he belongs with these guys. Nick, can you do the swing? Can you do the Matthew Wolff swing?
Come on, you know, the hitch is a fun little hit bump, and then you got the arm going back. It's a very unique swing. He creates a heck of a lot of power. I think he he might be out driving Rory and DJ today. I think at some points. I know you mentioned that he might be behind, but I think he's got some sneaky long power. So I think that's a wild card for them. If him and Rickie can kind of ham and egg it a little bit, not that Rickie's short by any means, but I think he'll be probably hitting first into a lot of greens with these three guys.
That Wolff setup almost looks like a really bad dance that you'd see at some concert at a PGA Tour venue at 8:00 at night after everyone's been drinking beers all day at the golf course. Nick, you play a lot of practice rounds with some of your fellow Canadians, Adam Hadwin, Corey Connors, Mackenzie Hughes, guys like that. And what strikes me in similarity here is that you're all a bunch of really nice guys. No offense, Nick. You're a nice guy. I don't know what to tell you. But
I won't take offense to
that. The four guys in this match, Rory, DJ, Rickie, and Wolff, you don't really have a whole lot of needlers. Next week, we're going to have Tiger and Phil in the same match, and Manning and Brady, and I think there's going to be some needling there. If we need some trash talk, where's the trash talk coming from, Nick?
My guess would be Rickie's probably got some sneaky trash talk in there. I think all of them, I don't know Matt as well as maybe the others because I've played with them, but I'll be curious to see with kind of how comfortable they get with each other and if they're going to be jabbing at each other on certain shots and putts, if they got a 6-footer to tie a scan or win the scan, if there's going to be some chirping going on or anything. So I think Rickie will bring his game. Roy's very clever, and DJ's got a lot of game to back it up. So I'm looking forward to if they will kind of cross that boundary and get into that kind of fun.
By the way, Wolff has posted a picture before he goes out and plays. He's got sort of the Brooks Koepka facial hair thing going on. That scares me a little bit if I'm betting against them. So you might want to keep an eye on Wolff. By the way, just about 10, 12 minutes, Colin Morikawa is going to join us. Colin, of course, grew up in Southern California playing a lot of junior and amateur golf, then played collegiate golf against Matthew Wolff. So he's going to be able to speak very intelligently on what that player brings to this match. But as I mentioned, I want to get to this golf course. Nick, I know you haven't played Seminole in the past. How excited are you to get a glimpse of it on TV? You've probably heard all sorts of good things about it over the years.
Yeah, I've heard amazing things. Obviously, the Seminole, the pro tournament there that they have that Rickie's won 3 times, that's kind of an elite tournament to get invited to. So it's a fun one you always hear about. I know a lot of tour players circle that on their calendar, and they're playing that if they have the opportunity. And being a Don Ross course, we play a handful of those on tour, and I've played quite a few over the years. He's such fun golf courses, so much interesting slopes around the greens, on the greens that make it very difficult, especially kind of second shots in the greens. So that will be, I think, kind of where you see if skins are going to be won by the second shots. Hopefully there's going to be some shots made from off the greens to win holes. So it's a great golf course, I think, to have this kind of format.
Steve sort of keyed in on it earlier where he said Donald Ross courses are as much about where to miss it as where to hit the ball. Have you found that with Ross courses, and what should be the strategy and mindset for these guys to try to take on another Ross track like the ones you've played?
Yeah, the one that comes to mind, we played the Wyndham Championship. I think it's Sedgefield in Greensboro, and that's one where if you can be aggressive off the tee and give yourself a shorter club into the greens, you're able to attack. There's times there you could be 6 feet above the hole and you're really just trying not to 3-putt, let alone make it. Or if you're 15 feet below the hole, you can have an aggressive putt. So I think at Seminole, you're going to see probably a lot of drivers off the tees. These guys are going to try to send it as far as they can down there, and so then they get more aggressive with shorter shots. So I think that's kind of I think Don Ross's maybe style that he likes is you can have options off of the tee, but know that if you're being more conservative, you're going to have to be you're going to have to hit a great shot just to even ever have a decent birdie putt to try to make it.
Steve, there are a lot of props we can go through around this event coming up. Some of them are closest to the pin and long drive props. I want to get, first of all, into closest to the pin because I know there are a few of these that you really like. I spoke with Brad Faxon earlier this week for a piece that's up on actionnetwork.com and the Action Network app right now, where he did a hole-by-hole breakdown of every hole on the course. I feel like I've been there and I've never been there, but after speaking with him, I feel like I know every hole on the golf course. He's played about 50 to 100 times, including twice in the past week or so. And he said the members there have a game. Let's say they go out, they have 4 foursomes. Well, you have on the 4 par 3s, 4 guys hitting. That's 16 total shots on par 3s during the course of a round. The over-under for each of the groups that they play is 5 greens in regulation on the par threes. I said, Brad, that's ridiculous. 5 out of 16. Those are some good players there. He goes, they're really good players. They know where to hit it. And by the way, I played with tour players out there, and we only raise the over-under to 6, and sometimes we don't get there. So this is going to be really difficult, I think, for some of these guys to hit the greens. What do you think about some greens and regulation props? And then get into the long drive props. There are actually 2 long drive competitions during the course of the match. Who do you like in those as well?
Yeah, I mean, you make a good point about how tough these greens are to hold. The caddies here at Seminole, they keep a stat, the greens visited in regulation. So, oftentimes your ball will be on the green, but then it'll roll off because it's usually very firm and fast at Seminole. And I think they got a little rain the last couple of days. So, maybe it'll be a little easier to, hit and hold these greens. So, that being said, I do like Rickie on the 5th hole and the 8th hole. Those are 2 par threes. The 5th hole is 205 yards. The 8th hole, it's a bear. It's almost a short par 4. It's 265 yards. So I'm not sure if anyone's going to hit that green in regulation, but just value wise, Rickie on both of those holes are plus 250. So, you're telling me Rickie Fowler is, an elite iron player. You're giving me 2.5 to 1 on my money. I'm going to take that. So I like those. And I think, given what Nick said, some insight into Matt Wolff and how long off the tee he could be, he could compete with Rory and DJ. So I've seen plus 300 on a couple of these long drive holes. So, there's some serious value there because DJ and Rory could be off the fairway. As you got to hit the fairway to win a long drive. So, Matt Wolff plus 300 on some of these long drives. If you still have that prop on your sports book, jump all over that.
It's a really good point. Colin Morikawa is about to join us in just a minute, which means, Nick, we've got to say goodbye to you. It's we're only allowed to have one reigning PGA Tour champion on this video at once. So before you leave, though, and thanks so much for joining us. Before you leave, we need a pick from you. Who you got, DJ and Rory or Rickie and Wolff?
You know what? I'm going to go Rickie and Wolff. I feel like they I think from Rory, he hadn't played golf, I think, for 7 or 8 weeks post players. Same with DJ. So I'm probably expecting a hair of rust from them. And I think Wolff and Rickie are coming up firing. So I'm going to go with them.
I'm not going to give up my pick just yet, but I was pumping my fist right there. I really like what you had to say. I'll put it that way, Nick. Nick, thanks so much for joining us. Try in between games of Mario Kart, which I know you're like a top 5 player in the world. It says so on your Twitter feed. In between games, see if you can watch a little bit from Seminole today, okay?
I'll watch plenty.
All right.
Thanks,
Nick Taylor, thanks so much.
Thanks, guys.
Of course, the reigning champion at Pebble Beach, the AT&T Pro-Am there. And we've got, like I said, Steve, Colin Morikawa joining us in just a second. But getting back to, of course, all the charitable efforts that we've got going on today. If you want to contribute, and of course, there's $3 million plus going into the COVID-19 charity efforts for those who want to join, want to contribute. PGAtour.com/driving relief. You can get involved. You can give money to the charity. Of course, it's a great cause right now. I think that sometimes we've had some matches that have more supported the players necessarily than causes. This one, of course, is going to a great cause. So I believe right now we've got Colin Morikawa joining us live on the show. Colin, are you there? There you are. I think we're getting Colin Morikawa up here. Hey,
we good? How you guys doing today?
Colin, how are you? Jason Sobel and Stephen Hennessy. What's going on, buddy? Are you excited to watch some golf today?
I'm thrilled. I'm so happy. I mean, I've been playing every day. How could you not be excited for Seminole and watching these 4 guys play?
As much as there's excitement about this one, and you say you've been playing every day, but I don't know if you need more motivation, but does actually watching some of your fellow PGA Tour players on live national TV, is that maybe going to get you a little motivated? I mean, if you're going to play, 36 tomorrow, all of a sudden you're playing 45. If you're going to practice for 5 hours, maybe it's 6 hours now. Is it going to get you just a little more motivated to get your game in shape for a couple of weeks from now when the PGA Tour comes back?
Maybe a little bit. I mean, I know today, is just more, it's more than just golf. But for us, to actually have a schedule out, in what, 3 weeks, 4 weeks coming. It's so exciting for us because, this is what we do. We love what we do. We're here to compete at the end of the day, and we're competitors. So I know these 4 guys are just loving the position they're in because, they're out competing with other pros for, a big charity cause. So I'm excited for them. I'm excited in 4 weeks when everything starts up again.
If Rory, DJ, Rickie, and Matthew Wolff are the stars of this show, I think Seminole Golf Club might steal Best Supporting Actor and just take it away with a cameo. I know you played there not too long ago with a pro member, just a couple of months ago, Colin. Tell us everything you know about Seminole and what did you think of it? Was this past year the first time you played there, or had you been there before?
This is the first time. So I was able to play in that pro member, like you said. And I actually played with Rickie. Rickie was in my group, him and Buddy Marucci. I had my partner, Mark Flaherty, and we had a blast. So Seminole's amazing. I mean, you step foot on the grounds and it is beautiful. You're right up on the ocean. You get some holes, you get some closing holes. You get 17, 18 right along the ocean, winds off the left. And, there's just so much you got to plot out, whether it's from the tee, you got to figure out how to hit bunker shots. I think all the members there, I was impressed, no matter what their age was, handicap, they all knew how to hit a bunker shot. So if you don't know how to hit bunker shots today, I think those guys are going to struggle a little bit. But, those guys are going to be fine from the rest of the play.
Colin, I mentioned earlier that I spoke with Brad Faxon for a piece I wrote earlier this week, breaking down the entire golf course. He's played there so many times. And one of the things that he mentioned that really stuck with me was you like it more and more the more that you play it. It's sort of an acquired taste. So I think a lot of people are going to expect they turn on their TV today at the top of the hour and say, oh my goodness, that's Seminole. It's the best place I've ever seen. Do you feel like, having seen it once now, that if you played it more and more, you'd actually appreciate it a little bit more moving forward?
Yeah, and I think that happens with a lot of courses. But, I mean, I fell in love with Seminole from the start. I didn't have to, walk and play 18 holes. And, I've definitely gone to courses where I didn't appreciate, and to be honest, like Pebble, for example. I didn't appreciate Pebble when I played it one time. I played it as USM. Seminole, I appreciated everything about it. I appreciated, the complexes, the green complexes, how everything was built off the tee, whatever it was. And yeah, there's some short par 4s out there that are, you can go for it with driver, you can lay up, whatever it is. But at the end of the day, you have to think through it. And that's what makes a good golf course.
You mentioned the fact that you played with, Steve, you mentioned the fact you played with Rickie during the pro member. What can you tell us about how he played? And secondly, what can we expect from him? I'll get into all the other players in this match as well, but what can we expect from Rickie in this one?
Yeah. So, I mean, this was 2 months ago almost. Mm-hmm. And I'd say he was struggling a little bit. He wasn't hitting his irons as well. But, obviously he's a great putter, and that's what it's going to come down to today. If you can put yourself on the greens, you can make a lot of putts if you're in the right spots. But I think for Rickie, as long as he's putting himself in the fairway onto the greens, we're going to see a great day from him. But yeah, when I played with him a couple weeks ago, it was a little struggle, or a couple months ago, it was a little struggle from the fairways into the greens. So we'll see what happens today.
Steve, go ahead, please.
I was and my question was about Rickie too, since you saw his game up close. Just wondering, if he truly had the insights of, where to miss on these greens and kind of how to position your ball. You mentioned his game might've been struggling a bit, but he's won this pro member 3 times. So he's got the experience here. Wondering what you think that experience will do in this match today.
I think it's huge. You talked a hole like 17, right? Mm-hmm. Par 3, short to medium length par 3, and certain pin locations you put, your ball will go off the green if you don't hit it in the right spot. That second back half, that right green, there's no way a ball is going to stop there if the greens are a little firm and fast. So, I think course knowledge is huge. Missing in certain spots, especially with some bunkers that are pretty deep. You got to know where to miss. You got to know where to hit it. And, the best ball strikers out there are going to give themselves the best chance today.
Steve, I put Nick Taylor on the spot with a question earlier, so it's only fair that I do it to you as well. Colin Morikawa versus Rickie Fowler straight up at Seminole. What are you making the odds?
What am I making the odds?
No, I'm asking Steve. I would ask you to do it, Colin, because I know where you're going. Come on, Steve. You got Colin sitting right here. You can make him an underdog against Rickie?
No, I don't know. I'd say about even money. I mean, Rickie has the course experience, but Colin hasn't missed a cut in his PGA Tour career. That's incredible. And the way his ball striking is already elite on the PGA Tour. I'm going to make that about even.
All right.
I'm not so sure. Kind.
Exactly.
I'm gonna put in that
seems like a bailout right there.
I think I'm pretty sure I beat him at Seminole 2 months ago, so I'll
See?
put that in.
All right.
Or maybe my partner did.
I want to ask you about Rickie's partner today because you've probably seen Matthew Wolff's game more than anybody else on tour right now. You, I believe, grew up playing junior golf with him and against him. Of course, played collegiate golf with him and against him. Now playing on the PGA Tour with him and against him. Can't shake the kid. Tell us everything we need to know, because I think a lot of people out there, okay, we know Rory, we know DJ, we know Rickie. Yeah, I've heard of this Matthew Wolff guy. He's got the kind of hitch in his swing thing. What else do we need to know about Matthew Wolff as a competitor?
I mean, as you know, aside from just being a competitor, the kid is the most loving guy you can, ask for to root on. He's a kid at heart, and when you can relate to that because he has so much fun on the course. When you go see these guys, they're well polished out there. Matt is there to have fun, do what he does best, love the game of golf. So you can expect very long drives from him, amazing high towering shots. And just a cool, unique swing that you don't really see out on the golf course. You want to see something different, and that's what catches people's eyes sometimes. And that's what Matt has. He has a really unique swing, but it generates a lot of power. He knows how to use the ground really well. And he just knows how to work the ball. I mean, the guy hits it a mile. So it'll be really cool. I mean, I've grown up watching him doing this forever now. So it's not new to me. I've seen it every day. It's kind of what I've, seen forever. So I think for the people that are going to be watching for the first time, it's going to be really cool, but just know that it works. It's not something that is just, it doesn't make sense. When you look at it piece by piece, it actually does work. And he puts it together really well.
Colin, I might be making this up out of nowhere. If I am, just go with it. But I believe, were you supposed to play with Matthew if the Zurich Classic was actually contested this year?
Yes, it was.
All right, good. Yes, you went along with it. What does he bring as a teammate? I mean, especially in this format where it's not a match play, it's not a stroke play format, but it's skins and you can be a little bit more aggressive. What does Matthew bring to a skins type of format?
Yeah, I think for a skins format, you're not going to be so focused on your overall score. You actually shouldn't care about your overall score at all. So he's going to bring a lot of fun, a lot of energy to every single hole. If you play bad on one hole, doesn't matter. He's going to go on the next hole. He's going to crack jokes. He's going to be the one that's going to, throw these little stabs in, I think, because he's the young one, and we were at a TaylorMade photo shoot earlier this year, all of us in our onesies and all that stuff. Matt's the one cracking jokes, but he's also the target of all the jokes because he's the youngest, so everyone can go at him, but he can also throw some jabs back. So it's going to be fun. Hopefully we're able to listen in on these guys. So yeah.
Oh, you're the old man of the group. What's he, 6 months younger than you or something like that? Come on.
I've got a couple of years on him. Come on.
You let him take the brunt of it? Like you're the old guy? Give me a break. I also want to talk to you about this format as far as just your mindset as a player. I know you haven't played a skins match on TV like these guys are about to do in 10 minutes starting at the top of the hour on NBC, but I know you've played skins matches just sort of whether it's at your home club, whether it's out on tour on a Tuesday or Wednesday with guys just kind of messing around. How is it a different mindset in a skins game than it would be in a regular, say, two-man best ball match?
Yeah, you definitely have to address and see where your partner's at, because if they're in a good position and you're not, you might as well go all out and attack pin. So I think guys are going to be a lot more aggressive today. And then, if you know the other team is not doing well and, you might be able, and you're not doing well and you might be able to scrape a half and move on and carry it on to the next hole, you're looking forward to those carry-ons. When they carry on 2, 3, 4, 5 holes, that's when it gets a little more intense. And that's when you see guys really start playing strategically to see, what did the other team do? What do I have to do? And you're going to see a lot of strategy, I think, today. And I hope a lot of pin seeking.
Steve, we mentioned it earlier, but this format is skins that carry over. First of all, of course, you can't have a skins match without carrying over the skins, which would be ridiculous. But it's also increasing monetary value. So holes 1 through 6, $50,000 each. Sounds like a lot of money, but that is really only 15% of the entire pool for all the charitable donations today. So really can't go either way on the first 6 holes. But then 7 through 16, $100,000 for each hole. 17th hole, the par 3, $200,000. And that last hole, 18, just a cool $500,000 riding on that one if they have that one. If there's anything left on the table, they'll play another hole and then play close to the pin and then maybe flip a coin just so NBC can get off the air in time. But Steve, based on that format, how can we find an edge if we're looking to make some wagers on this thing?
Yeah, a couple things to think about. You have 3 par 5s in that stretch after the 7th hole where the skins kind of increase in value. So you have the 9th hole as a par 5. And then a really unique aspect of Seminole is back-to-back par 5s. You have 14 and 15. 15 is the unique double fairway, which was, especially ingenious in 1930 when Donald Ross designed this course. So back-to-back par 5s, it's going to be opportunities for birdies, maybe even eagles, depending on the wind. The wind really affects things at Seminole and how each hole plays. So that's going to be unique. And again, like we said at the top of this, I think live betting is going to be really interesting. If DJ and Rory go down, that minus 190 might go down to like minus 140 or so. Mm-hmm. That's some strong value there. But I mean, Colin is saying the same thing as Nick Taylor did. And, Matt Wolff could kind of keep up distance wise with these guys. So, it's not necessarily a huge distance advantage maybe for DJ and Rory on these par 5s where, you might think that that's where that length will really separate you. And I wonder, Colin, these par 5s and just Wolff's competitiveness. I think you played with him when Wolff won the 3M Open, down the stretch there, and you saw that clutch gene up close and personal. So, give us a little, mindset into Wolff. And do you think this moment will be too big for him, or do you think he'll kind of embrace this opportunity?
Well, thank you for rubbing that in. No, I'm kidding.
You were right there too. I know it.
Yeah, I was definitely there. I was front row. No, I think it will. I mean, you have to be clutch in these moments, whether it's your Sunday afternoon foursome with a bunch of guys that, you're playing for $5 with, or you're playing for a big charity and doing these skins matches. You got to get clutch. And if guys aren't making putts today, they're going to struggle because it's going to get frustrating at a point where, you're letting down, not just, whether it's DJ or Rory or your teammate, Rickie or whatever, you're letting down a bunch of charity money that you can raise for other people. So, yeah, I think you got to get clutch today. I think it's going to be cool. You talk about par 5s. I go to 15. When we played the pro member, they put our tees way, way back, and it was into the wind. And Rickie and I were barely carrying the water down the right side. Wow. We had no clue, like, what to even carry it. So I really hope the tees are as far back as they can, because it makes that 15th hole a little more interesting. I know I saw Rory was playing behind us in that Seminole Pro member, and he almost drove the green on 16. So it'll be really cool. You're going to see some big drives today.
Colin, I know this is a little bit of a hypothetical considering you haven't done it, but is there more pressure playing for your own money or playing for charity money? I mean, these guys are obviously all of this money is going to go towards relief efforts, but when you have your name on it and you want to win that money so they can say, oh, Rickie and Matthew Wolff, those are the two guys that donated more money because they played better and they gave to the charitable relief efforts. Is that in a way potentially more pressure on you playing than if you were just playing for your own money?
I think so to a small degree, because at the end of the day, when we're playing PGA Tour events, we're not thinking about the money that we're going to win if we make this one putt, if we do this on this hole. That's the side. That's all a bonus for us. We just love the game. We want to win. That's what we want. We want the trophies at the end of the day. For today, I think these guys want to raise as much money. They want to beat the other two, obviously, but they want to raise the most amount of money they can. So yeah, that's going to be really special for whoever puts their name, or the two guys that put their name and have the most money to donate to charity. But at the end of the day, it's all going to be raised for a great cause. So it'll be really cool to see everything unfold.
Steve, you mentioned earlier that Rory really hasn't played much golf. He's going to start ramping up his game after this match. He said Dustin Johnson played his first round in 2 months last Sunday. Meanwhile, I think Rickie's been playing a decent amount. We see the Instagram videos, and Matthew Wolff is hinted that he's been playing as well. So if you're looking for a prop bet, you're looking for something to wager on, I kind of like Rickie and Wolff to have the lead after the first 6 holes at plus 120. Steve, what do you think about that prop?
Yeah, I like that. And I was going to go, right along kind of corollary to that is the first hole. If Rickie and Wolff win that, I think those odds are plus 300 or so. If you could get that, I mean, they could easily birdie that first hole. We were saying before the show, that's like an iron off the tee. They're just going to have a wedge in. It's just a matter of making a putt. So you're getting 3-1 on your money, just making birdie on the first hole. Obviously, DJ and Rory could too, but I think that's where the value is. And I think we teased it at the top that's kind of where we're going overall in the match is we like the value with the dog, considering, how this format lends itself to a little more variance at the end.
Yeah, I love plus 225 for all 4 players to hit the first fairway. Colin, you didn't miss the first fairway when you teed off there, did you?
Nah, you know what? I think I birdied. I think I hit the fairway.
Can you miss that fairway?
Wow.
I mean, is that a smart bet by me? You can't miss that fairway, can you?
I think guys are going to be hitting drivers. I don't think they're going to be hitting iron. I think all these holes where they're able to lay up, I think they're going to rip driver. I mean, so I don't know. I mean, if I do see an iron, it'll be interesting. I know Rickie and I hit driver when we played a couple months ago. So, why not try and get as close as you can to that green?
All right. Rory hits his 2-iron like 297.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, it does carry a little bit. I won't put you on the spot with odds. I won't bring up prices. I won't bring up numbers, but just who do you got? Colin Morikawa, you got Dustin Johnson and Rory McIlroy against Rickie Fowler and Matthew Wolff. Do you want to upset the number 1 and 5 player in the world? Do you want to upset a good friend of yours in Matthew Wolff? Who are you taking in this one?
I do love a good underdog story, but I think at the end of the day, going through this, I think Rory and DJ will top them. I just think, they've played multiple times at Seminole. They know how to just close it out. So I'm going to put it on those guys, especially after I played with Rickie a couple months ago. Same course.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, Colin's got Rory and DJ there. Nick Taylor took Rickie and Wolff. Steve Hennessy, you've got to be our tiebreaker here. Who do you got for this one?
I like the value in the dogs. Rickie and Wolff, I think +1. It was +190. We've seen a lot of the steam go down. I think people were thinking the way we were. So those odds are about like +140, +145 or so. So the value's a little lost, but I still like that. Again, with the variance of the 17th and 18th holes coming down to all the skins right there. Anything can happen. These guys are so good that, it just takes them making a birdie and, all the skins are there. So that's where my money's going. What about you, Sobel?
Yeah, I'm with you, or at least I have been with you for the last week until Colin just said that a minute ago. Colin's a lot smarter than we are. He went to Cal. I couldn't get into Cal. He went to a good school. He's smarter. He's more well-spoken than us. I really want to change my pick, but I'm going to stick with the dogs. I'm taking Rickie and Wolff. Coming up right now on NBC Sports, you can catch the match from Seminole. TaylorMade driving relief skins match. Rory and DJ, Rickie and Wolff. Thanks so much, Stephen Hennessy from Golf Digest, Colin Morikawa, the reigning Barracuda champion. Of course, Nick Taylor. Thanks to Nick for joining us, the reigning AT&T Pebble Beach Pro-Am champion. I'm Jason Sobel from the Action Network. Thanks for watching. Enjoy the golf today.